All right, we are live. Let me get this tweeted out for everybody here. One second. Do 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 do. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good. Well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. Greetings, fellow traders. All right, let's take a look and see what's going on here. So today we are going to talk about day trading, penny pinchers, the 5-minute standard deviation scalp. And so it's going to be a pretty cool setup. So we'll take a look at that momentarily. Before we do that, let's take a look and see where we're at in the market. And before we do that, just a reminder to everybody that everything we're going to talk about today is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Good, good, good. All right. Well, this is where we're at in the market. So the month, gosh, can you believe we're almost halfway through November? Monthly chart is taking a nice move off the prior month's hammer, so it's getting bullish there. The weekly chart at the upper Bollinger Band on the weekly, so we'll see how that handles that over the next week or so. Daily chart looking pretty interesting here, right? We have our upward sloping trend line right here. We had that inside day the other day, and we pushed to the upside. It looked like it was going to push down. It gapped down slightly, just slightly, put a little bit of a dent in the armor right here. But it managed today to close itself up with a hammer. So a little bit of a hanging man at the basically at the bottom of the upward trend line right here. So we'll see where we end up with that tomorrow, because the futures are up this evening pretty high based on just some positive comments from Larry Kudlow about trade talks going well. It's like, do they just do this every time? Oh, market's down, talk about trade talks doing well. They just keep it propped up as much as they can. But anyway, this is where we are. So it is what it is. Price is what price is. So we're up over the upward channel right here, and if we stay above this and we continue to work bullishly, right, we could see ourselves up at the top of this geometric pitchfork that we have right here from these recent lows through these two levels here. So very, very interesting stuff, especially as it held that median line right several times. So it is possible it could work its way up to what may be the wave B top here. So something to look at there. So other than that, let's keep moving on here and take a look at the price action from today. So here's the price action for today. These are the levels that we provide to our members, right? So that we can kind of navigate the day trading market, right, at these levels. Now, there's levels, of course, on the daily chart. Like I said, there's geometric levels there. But these are the levels that like to get tested, right? These are key levels that we like to use, right? And we tweet these out on all of our go-to list items, too. But anyway, so today we gapped down a little bit, right? We had a bullish move through the short-term volumetric mid-level. So the next target, right, is the prior day's close, right? It couldn't quite get there, right? Put an upper shadow forming the 15-orb high, giving us a new level that could be tested later, right? Reverse back down. Then we had a very bearish bar right here, which then that failed to the downside. It got pretty close. So when we do this, when we see this, it's like, well, how come it didn't get there? Well, because it just didn't, right? But the real question is, like, would we even trade that? And the real answer is, no, probably not, because the risk reward really isn't there, right? So the size of this candle versus the distance from here to this line is really not worth it, right? It's not worth the risk, right? And then we get this, 180, reversal off of that, and then it backs up, and then, today was a day where it just kind of brushed levels, but then it finally gave it out and tested it here, right? So sometimes if it doesn't test it the first time, it's the second time where it might want to do it, might want to check it. So it did there, came up, down, and sometimes it's the third time, right? So this is the first time it tried to get up to this level, couldn't do it. Here's the second time it couldn't get to this level, didn't do it. Then third time was the charm, up here, made it. Okay, so that's the price action from today. Really, really interesting stuff. Good stuff. So let's take a look at this just to kind of look at the 10 pp method that we talked about the other day. Let's just look and see. I think there was a good candidate for that when I was looking at the 15s earlier. So yeah, this was a great candidate for that today. Oh, yesterday was actually pretty good right here. That was a good one for that reversal up. Today was okay. We did it. It was the engulfing real body was like right here off of the 10-minute chart, right? So we had a bullish move here, a red move here. The real body right here was basically engulfed by this real body, right? So after it got through there, that's a good scalping opportunity there from 3094 up to that level to 3090. So it's 2 points. It's not huge, but it's something, right? So maybe you could scrape out like a point and a half off of it, off of the options, just because of the reversal right there. So something to look at there. And again, same thing happened at the end of the day after 3 o'clock in the last hour, right? So we have this red move right here, right? And then we had an engulfing move over that, which gave a move to the upside. So Could be argued here that, hey, this engulfed this one, so yeah, so we go short off of that move here, and it gets us basically to the prior day's close. But again, risk reward, does it make sense to test those levels? So good stuff. Okay, so that being said, today's concluding conversation from the Penny Pinchers series this week is going to be on the 5-minute standard deviation, right? So on the 5-minute standard deviation scalp. Okay, so let's take a look and see what I am talking about on that. So let's just take anything. Let's take SPY. I don't think I have the levels completely loaded on this one. And what we'll do is we'll set this to the. Let's get something that's a little bit more that moves a little bit more like Amazon or something like that. Give it a second here for these to load. But let me explain exactly what this setup is. So what it is it's basically just saying finding a way to enter on a pullback or a snapback, right, in one direction. A pullback on a move up, a snapback on the way down, right? And so basically just saying entering on meaningful retracements. Okay, so what we do is on the 5-minute chart, we put a 10 bar, we put the 10 moving average on it, right? And then we expand an upper and lower band 1 standard deviation each way. And so the easiest way to do this in Thinkorswim is to have is to use the Keltner channels. Okay, so let me find a cleaner chart here if there is one. I'll use the 5 here. I just want to take off some of the stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all studies here. Let's see, save study set there is the, I'll just call it YouTube 5. Okay, so I'm going to clear all the studies here so we don't lose those for later. Okay, so here's the 5-minute chart from today. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the style to the bar chart because I just think it's easier to read when looking for bounces or not. Okay. Okay, so that should switch it to bar chart here. 1 second. Okay, so there's your bar charts. Okay, and then what we want to do is we should just go ahead and pull up the Keltner channels. Okay, so we'll do the 10 moving average on the Keltners because Keltner channel is just a moving average in the middle, just a basically a simple moving average, right? Well, you could set it to exponential or or exponential. I think simple is just as fine. Okay, we can even compare the two. And then what you do is you just set it the standard deviation instead of 1.5, it defaults to 1.5. Just set it to 1 and set the length as 10. Okay, and so this is what it's going to look like here, here, and here. Okay, so you look at it like that way. Okay, so the idea is at this point is what we would do is look for where it's trending. Okay, and you can tell which way it's trending by which way it's sloping. Okay, so this is the simple moving average. Let me switch this to the exponential and just see what that looks like real quick. Okay. Yeah, I mean it could be interesting. I think the simple looks just as well. Let me see. There's not really many good examples on this one. A little bit here. A little bit here. Let me switch back to the simple real quick. Give me 1 second. I think everything I tested was the simple. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so basically what we're seeing here is the Keltner channels and these moving averages just give you a direction of trend, right? And so you can see off the open here on Amazon, it moved up quickly at the open, right? So it's all over the channels right here, and it's just not much we could do, right? It's not until, right? Because what we would look for here is a snapback or a pullback below the lower channel, and when it pushes back below that, that's where we like to go long. Okay, so it's basically just a just trying to catch those pullbacks, right? So now the trend here is down. So you look for a pullback below the lower if you're going up, and if you're going down, you look for a snapback above the upper when you're going down, and you look to short on the downside and go long to the upside on those pullbacks. So right now you can see these multiple pullbacks to the downside, but you don't want to go long on those because it's below the other ones. You'd only want to see it if you're going down a push above it. So we don't see that in this downtrend right here. Now we start to switch here. Now we do have one pullback right here, but it doesn't quite get below that 1 standard deviation on it. So so at that point it's just like, okay, well that's not it, right? So can't really go along that based on this technique, right? So this technique doesn't set up all the time, okay? But yeah, you just want to follow in the direction of the slope. Okay, so from there, what we can do is just kind of look at, and now this I'd say is the best opportunity because you can see the slope of all of these right now are down. Right now, obviously everything's going to move slightly with an up move, right? But you can see all the slope of those are down. So this is probably the best opportunity today. So things are starting to slope down, right? And we get one snapback right here to the upper standard deviation. So at that point, right, you can look to short, right? And then the stop concept is basically a 1.5 point stop, which I would do like on the options or something like that. So on Amazon, it would make sense. So basically, you're looking at, this level right here is, 178, just say 0.5. So your stop would basically be here at like 160. Okay, so just giving it an opportunity to move. Okay, and then the idea is you want to try to go for like 2 points on it, right? And so, but basically you can still trim and trail on that. So this hit the top of the Keltner channel, the top of the standard deviation, right at 1758.50, and then you short up there once it tags that, and then it goes back down. And so here we are at 1754 from 1758. So what we ended up getting is basically a 1 to 3 risk reward, right? And that's a good trade, right? So you wait all day for it, but once it sets up, there you go, good to go. Okay, and then we get a little bit flat right here, and I wouldn't consider this an uptrending move, right? And then finally here, this gets a little bit tricky because it kind of flattened out here. So here at the end of the day, but we pretty much don't want to trade at the end of the day anyway. So that was the trade right there. We could look at one more example real quick before wrapping up. But 1 second, let's take a look. So let's look at what was one that moved a lot today? Shop was all over the place today. Had some quick reversals on this one today. Let's see if this pulls up for us. Shop was all over the place today. So very, very similar, setup there to Amazon. Again, here's an okay one. Shop is going to be tough to trade anyway, but here we're obviously trending up on all the Keltner channels here, right? See your slopes here are all pointing up at this point, right? Everything's pointing up. So you can see that, right? The trend is up. And we had one pullback right here. Okay. 310, right? This is 1.5 point stops, but just figure below here, right? And here eventually it gets up to the top of the channel here off of that move. Right, so it goes 2 points up from here to here. So nice little trading technique. Okay. So definitely check this one out. I like this one. It's just kind of one of those smooth ways to trade where you can kind of just track it all day, and then if you see something set up on a stock that you like to trade, and just go back and back test it on some other ones that you like too. I mean, you might be able to see it on Apple. Apple's not not really a fun one to trade intraday, but Facebook is pretty good. SPY, SPX. Let's take a look at SPX and just see what that did today, and then we'll wrap it up. See this. I don't know why the data is always so slow at night. Okay. Ooh, this is a good one right here. So, here. All right. So SPX was working its way up here. Then it started to work its way down. So you can see the trend is down right here, and look what it did. Right. So the trend is down, and once it pushed over it here, there's your entry. Say there's your stop, and look at that, all the way from there to there. That's pretty valuable, I'd say, on SPX, right? So if here, let's say, okay, so it comes above here and you just set your stop up here, right? So you're basically just looking for, that opportunity. And some of these are quick, like that would have been impossible to catch. You'd have to catch it on the way up, possibly off of this guy right here, right? Okay, so there's your entry here. So just to show you what this looks like option-wise, say put your stop wherever, a couple points down, right? So here, let's say we entered the today was a non-expiration day. Let's say we entered the 30. They'll be expensive, okay, but we can go a little bit out of the money on non-expiration day because we don't have to worry about the theta decay. But let's just say we think we're going to get down to this 3090 level, okay? So if we entered here somewhere at 1120 and we can get to 3090, it would be .spxw 9115P and then 3090. Okay, so from 1120, if we took that entry off of that, right? So here's 1120 right here. So we would have entered somewhere in this time frame. There wasn't a lot of data at that time frame, but say we entered somewhere halfway through the range, so $5.50. Well, those $5.50 would have gone to $11.38. Well, that's a pretty good day. And then your risk, like your stop is basically down here, for instance. So say that's about $4.50. So really risking like a point, right, to make 6 points. So 1 to 6 risk reward on that one. Okay, so that's pretty good. And then let's just take a look at the other counter movement. I remember when this was so fast it would have been difficult to catch, but it came back up right here, right? Push down again. So there's your entry point right here. So this figure somewhere at 1400 on that. And let's say our next target is maybe the prior day's close at 3095 ish. So look at the calls at the 39.5s. Okay, and that is at 2 o'clock. So let's see how those did at the end of the day. So there's that big move down. So here's your entry point right around in here. Let's say we got in halfway through the range, $4.60. You could set a stop at $3.60, just a point below, right? And you get a nice move up right there. So the first move up goes from $4.50 all the way to $6.20. So nice 1.5 point move. Feel free to take profits there, right? Moves back one more time and then finishes at the end of the day at $7. So nice 3 points there. So 2 trades on SPX worth, even with one contract each time. The first one, $600 worth of profit, and the second one up to $300 worth of profit. So a $900 day just on one contract using this method. So I think it's pretty cool. I like it. I'll probably be incorporating it into some of my analyses, so it looks pretty good there. So it looks pretty interesting. So I hope you guys found that helpful. At this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up by 10:30 so we can all get a good night's sleep and have a fun Friday tomorrow. And keep in mind, tomorrow is Friday, so it's option expiration day. Right, so if you're in the money on options, make sure you close out your positions so you don't get assigned, right? And also, sometimes it's good just to trade next week's options anyway, so you don't have that crazy theta stuff going on. So the theta burn to mess with everything. So good. So just always a good Friday reminder right there, and TGIF. So good stuff. All right, well, let's take a look here. We've got Shirley emailed a few in, so we've got that list here. All right, now let me do this. Let me remove all studies. And let me put the studies back in. Load study set. YouTube 5. There we go. Cool. It's got like our clouds and stuff like that. And let's set the candles back to candles. Okay. Good. All right. So Shirley has a few on the list here. So let's take a look. So we've got AMD. Wow, that's been a bullish one. Considered seriously swinging long this day, right? Passed because of a little bit of the upper shadow and all that stuff. Could have gone long this day. Passed. I was like, oh, it's too close to the cloud, but it was a thin cloud, and then a little bit of a pullback, and then see ya 8 points later on AMD. Would have been a stellar, amazing swing. So that'd be good. That'd be good. But yeah, so far so bullish. Just now at this point, just be careful if it's too extended. Microsoft. Let's take a look here. So Microsoft has been the chop master in all these areas, right? It finally broke out of there after earnings, chopped around for a little bit, and is slowly working its way up the channel. Microsoft's a slow grinder, but if you like to swing it, right, it could start to work its way up. It could take a while to get to the top of the channel. KSS, cools, right? But also pronounced cools. But yeah, been moving its way up here. Decent breakout of the cloud right here. Possible entry day, another entry day right here. Had to deal with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of chop and a pullback, which is tough on options right there. But then it worked its way up, right? So then one more pullback back to the trend line and then up. So that's tricky, right? But it is over the 200-day moving average right now. It looks like it's coming out of a bull flag. Okay, so that's definitely something to keep an eye on there. Just be careful of the upper shadow. But bullish until proven otherwise. ARNC. ARNC. Yep, oh, we already had a trend line on that. Yep, so Arconic at least looking pretty good. So still bullish until proven otherwise. See if it continues the trend there. And then FISV. Yeah, that was a bullish closer there. Just be careful of the dangerous hammer. It could always trick you and turn into a hanging man. So other than that, nice pop out of the cloud recently, right? So this was a good potential first day, kind of like a shot across the bow. Then you had your pullback right here, and then this one right here is saying, okay, let's try to go higher, and it did. So good stuff on those. Awesome. Superstar, what's going on? Google and Amazon. You got it? Let's take a look. So Google, I think we talked about that yesterday. It did have a good push today, right? We talked about a potential target point. Obviously, the 1320 was the area. Had a pretty good move today, a little bit of an upper shadow today, and still holding the trend. And then we have Amazon. See if that typed in there. Okay, yep. So Amazon's really, really weak right here, but inside day, but it's holding the cloud bottom. Okay, so that's like its last line of support until it gets to the trend line down here. So as long as it holds that, it could be okay, right? Then it might actually turn around and try to get out of the cloud. Good stuff. Actually, what's going on? Greetings. Not really. No great trades. I know. Sorry, man. But it's always fun to learn, right? So, Matthew, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Manoj, how's it going? Hello. Sarah, good evening. Diz, let's take a look at Diz. Yeah, so Diz, not surprised to this one. Gave a lot of folks who were trying to swing this one, right? But always got to be careful, right? At where the resistance are, what it's kind of looking at, right? So we've had this fib fan line for a while, which is resistance here, and a little bit of resistance there. So it hits 150 market, reversed off of it. Now, is it going to go all the way down and reclaim this range? Maybe, but I think 50%, like the 50% of the range is a good place to look for some possible support on it. So that's something to think about. But yeah, good stuff. MTN. Even though it broke the trend line, SHOP still needs to close bullishly above the high on increased volume, right? This is correct. So SHOP, I know. SHOP did have decreasing volume today, right? It got over the channel, but it needs to work its way up. Now this was a bullish close over it with increasing volume. So right now it's basically testing that channel as support now. So it may continue to work its way up, but we shall see. Noonie Poo, what's going on? SLV and Facebook. Cool. So, Sluv. Just kidding. Silver. Let's take a look. Silva. Here's your trend line right here. Right? So, it's starting to close bullishly above it. Starting to get there. I'd like to get over this little congestion zone, but yeah. Just keep it going. Need a little volume in it, and if it can, it could work its way up to the cloud. And then Facebook. Facebook. It's just in the chop zone still. Just will not do anything. All right, here's your earnings, blah. Try to inside day up, blah. Try to inside down, blah. Try to break out of the cloud, blah. So right at this point, it's blah. No, but at this point, it's holding this trend line right here. So we'll see if that continues. I guess slightly bullish until blah until proven otherwise, right? So, Sarah, Roku, you got it. Roku. We will Roku. So just strong stuff, guys. Anytime you get a stock like Roku, right? That's like the center of all trading attention, and it gaps down 20 points on good earnings. There's a good probability that's going to reverse at some point, right? So they tried to do it that day. It held the cloud. They gave you an inside day, possible jack in the box, right? Started to work its way up. And this candle right here on increasing volume is saying, I might want to get out of this cloud. And here it's saying, I'm really, really close to it. Then yesterday it's like, yep, I'm out. Kind of like the three white soldiers right there, and it got a little continuation right there. So now it is out of this channel, right? Which might imply that this corrective phase might be over here. But to me, it's really tough to say because the impulsive move down is about the same slope as the impulsive move up. So it's like, what is it really doing, right? So maybe this was the move. Maybe this was like a 5, 3, 5. Maybe that was the full extent of the zigzag. And now we're looking at a wave 1, A, B, C, 2, and then we could work our way up. We'll see. It's always confusing when it breaks out of the channel. It's always perplexing. So we really need to see what it's doing. But it's at this resistance level right here. So that's kind of key right now. Gap up here. That's another possibility. And then possibly all-time highs again. We have to see. So good. So there's Roku. Heather, yeah, good evening, Roku. Please and thank you. So we just looked at that, of course, and Sarah beat you to it. And good evening, M. Chopping around here at the bottom of the cloud. Really, really tricky right here. Really tricky right here, Ann. TTD. You have to just wait for a breakout at some point, some confirmation breakout on that. TTD with a little pause day today. Pausing right here. So possible doji sandwich in the works. It might get up to the top of the cloud. BA. BA is doing pretty good. It's got to get to the 200-day moving average here. If it can get above that, then it might get bullish and work on a cloud breakout. But it did take the double inside day up, and it was some stellar moves to get there today. Big pop today. And PayPal. Yep. Oh, interesting. So it did decide to enter into the cloud today. Not a lot of volume on it, but it's definitely showing that it's interested. So that's good. Nice ones. And then DPLO. Oof. They got oof. Yeah, this is a kind of a penny stock type thing. So right comes up, hits the 200 moving average, and down. So yeah, it's trying to kind of weasel its way back out of this, but it might take a little more. Sometimes it takes a little more time on those. Sumit, what's going on? Microsoft? Again, yeah, it's still trying to work its way up the channel here. It's got a macro channel up here that might try to get to. It's slow mover, but could work. Doc Admin, what's going on? ROP. ROP. Roper Technologies. Nice. This is one we looked at. Yes, I believe we looked at this one. But yeah, moving average here at that level. So it needs to close bullishly above here. Now it needs to close bullishly above here. It's got to get over those upper shadows. But still, generally, it looks like it's working its way. Roku, we looked at a few times there, but just a quick review. Working its way up out of the cloud. Diz. Good old Diz. Big day yesterday, kind of like a pause, slight reversal day today. Just kind of keep an eye on it today. Watch for any bearish activity on it tomorrow. It might get some momentum because it's kind of high up there. A lot of gravity. SE. Everybody's been asking me about SE. Bullish still promoted. Nice inside day today. It could be a Jack in the Box type style. It's just really tough right here. I mean, it's holding all these things. But yeah, if it breaks out today's high and it takes out those levels right here, it could get a spike off of it. CRWD. That was a nice one. A few of the folks in our group swung this last night. I did say it looked pretty bullish. It did get a nice move at the open, in the first hour or so. And then it kind of came back in a little bit, but it's still holding this trend right here. It's not quite a breakout bar yet, but it had a nice move today. And cost. All great charts. Yeah, cost good. Got a little fall through today. Might be a doji sandwich in the works. I'm waiting for the trend lines to show up there. Yeah, had a decent close yesterday. A nice move up this morning. So that was pretty good. Good. And an Amex. What's going on? D-Dog. D-Dog. Inside day? Inside day after good earnings, so it's close. It's basically at the upper end of the range, so that could be pretty good there. Looking bullish. Goose got its goose cooked yesterday, but inside day today. So see how that holds. Maybe it'll form like a little bear flag for you. SDC. Ooh, good. You're getting all the IPOs. SDC, oh man, they got crushed yesterday on earnings. So inside day at the low end of the range. So watch for an inside day breakdown tomorrow. That could be devastating for it. KHC, yeah, KHC was a nasty downgrade today. After earnings, it's like somebody missed the boat on that one and wanted some revenge. But closing under the 200 moving day today, so now it looks like it might want to test the cloud. Good stuff, Gio. What's going on? Good evening, Netflix and KO. Yeah, let's take a look. So Netflix. Let's see if that pulls up for us. Okay, so Netflix inside day. Right, open up. It had a good move today, up 6 points today. It had some good moves today. Inside day, so let's see if it breaks out there. A break of the inside day tomorrow could be a simultaneous break of the cloud and get another momentum move up. So that's good. Cool. Coca-Cola. Yeah, a couple good moves here off of that, so that's looking pretty good. Let's see, I think I had a trend line here. Actually, today was pretty good. I wish I had increased volume, but it is drifting up right there, so that's nice. It's got the bubbles. It's got the bubbles. Watch out for that prior 15 orb resistance level. Good. Gia, AbbVie. Yeah, this thing is just a monster, just a huge freight train. Just any pullback seems viable on it, so it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, no, you're good. Good. And then Doc Admin, one last one. Oh yeah, LRCX, is that a bull flag? Let's take a look. LRCX. It's pretty extended to be a bull flag a little bit, but yeah, you could go with it a little bit. I mean, there's still a trend on it, right? So oh, there it is, right there. So there you go. Yeah. So as long as the flag doesn't extend past the length of the pole, right? You could pretty much consider it a flag. I like to see it like 50% or less of it, like kind of stopping here. But yeah, as long as it breaks out, it could still work its way up, get over those highs, and keep going. Still looks pretty bullish. MTN, what's your take on today's Keltner technique on the daily? Shop as a reference. So you're saying, yeah, we still use the Keltners too, like in our group, like newsletter and stuff like that. I mean, it's a similar strategy, right? It's a similar strategy. So we like to trade with the trend, and we like to do reversions to the middle. But you could do like a Keltner on it, just a basic Keltner here as the, we'd have this here. Okay, so it kind of shows these, but it doesn't, it's not going to be as sensitive. So if we go to the 1 standard deviation, and we go to the 10. Okay, we said that there. It's a little bit trickier, right? So it doesn't behave as well. It's more of a day trading type technique, but this does give you some reversion tools that you can use. But yeah, on shop, let's say like, yeah, I mean, if you did look at it on the Keltner channel, it would be we could say we're trending down right here, and it could be a reversal down if you used it, for that. So very possible. Very, very nice. TJF, Walmart. Let's take a look. Yeah, so Walmart had good earnings, and it doesn't like to leave a gap. It did leave a gap up here, but it does like to fill them, and it can do it pretty quickly. And so Walmart was a great 15 orb trade today, guys. Couldn't get over the pre-market box. 15 orb down, big gap to fill, and Walmart is one to do it, and it did. So see how it holds it. Generally, it's still bullish though. I mean, it's just probably hold its trend. And then QCOM. Give it a second for it to load up here. Yep, QCOM just kind of blah, kind of chopping around. It looks like it's almost still within that mother bar too, but just kind of chopping around a little bit. That's a tough one to get any direction on. If it did break down a little bit farther, right, maybe it could start to fill its gap, but I would wait for a setup on that. Moan, what's going on? Tesla, good to see you, man. Tesla, yeah, I mean, doing good, right? I mean, it had our trend that we had from up here, right? Got a little bit weak yesterday, came down to it, gave a little bit of a push down today, but reversed off of it. So if it puts a new high in, we'll get a new trend line, and all good. We'll continue to work its way up. Bullish to proven otherwise. Fernando, IZEA. Isaiah. I have an Isaiah. Let's take a look. Okay, so really, really choppy down here. It had some earnings. This is a very low volume stock, right? So just be careful with this thing, right? And it likes to chop around forever. I wouldn't even mess with this thing. I really wouldn't. Unless you can somehow sell premium, just sell iron condors on it all the time. If it'll even let you. It'll even let you. It doesn't even have options. So yeah, so just be careful with that one. It is down though on earnings. It is down after hours on earnings. To 24 cents. Oh. Teeny little thing. That's a tricky one to trade right there, for sure. Better off trading options. At least they move. And they're still cheap. Wendy, good morning. GH. Hope you're doing great in Singapore. GH, yep, over the 200-day moving average and working its way out of the cloud. Very bullish. It's been bullish for a while. We've been looking at it a little bit. Vive. A little bit of resistance there, a little topping tail at the cloud, so just be careful with that one. HEI. I like how it got into the cloud. That could get bullish for it. I'm liking that. Nice bullish close today. Decent volume. I like it. I like that. Low. Yeah, Lowe's had a nice move today, so it's still holding up. We know we had a nice move up that day for a nice push. Now it looks like it could continue. Possible earnings run. Namaste, what's going on? Thank you, Wendy. BIIB. Yeah, BIIB. We're looking as a possible short today. A little bit of too much of a lower tail on it, but it is looking interesting. I like the increased volume to the downside. Yeah, 2 days ago, bearish engulfing right there. That started the move down. Exactly. Nice catch on that one. Doc Admin. Yeah, my pleasure. Samit Low. Yeah, we just looked at that one. Let's do a BBY. BBY, tricky here. A little decent close, but not quite above the what I would call like a trend line back to this area. But a close above today's high could get Best Buy going again with some increasing volume. Experience and thoughts. PayPal. PYPL. Yeah, nice. I like how it got into the cloud today. Not enough volume, but it is starting to look pretty interesting. Experience thoughts. The video will be interesting in the morning. Can't wait for the live morning session on it. Yeah, my pleasure. I've been killing it all week. Thank you, Saif. Experience thoughts. Appreciate you. Appreciate you so much. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Namaste. Also, one thing I noticed is you don't use the 9 EMA or 8 EMA. What are your thoughts on the moving average? Yeah, I'm not a moving average guy. I mean, I have the 200 moving average on these daily charts because they do show interesting points of support and resistance often, but I just don't use moving averages. I don't because they just they mess with you, right? I mean, I guess you could say if you're above it or below it, but it's like by the time you're above or below it, like you kind of know it. I use the cloud, which incorporates some moving average technique into it, but yeah, I definitely don't trade off of it. Sometimes I'll look at it to see perspective, because some algos do use them, right, to use it, but yeah, I don't mess with it. It just is, it's kind of distracting. Because mostly what we use in our group and what I trade off of is price action, and so and levels, right? So I really don't need the moving averages for that, right? The price pretty much tells me what it's thinking. You know what I'm saying? That's for day trading. So. Brian, what's going on? So, what's the best solution for FOMO? Just patience. It just takes time, and just get used to it. Like it stinks. It's the worst. The best thing to do is if you see something and you're like, oh man, I should have got in that. If you even say like I should have, like the second you say I should have, just walk away. Just like take a step back, because there's always tomorrow. There's always tomorrow, because it's always that time where you see it going, right? That like you try to jump in and then it pulls back and you're like, oh no, and then you get stopped out. You're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, right? So you just get to the point where it's just like, hey, it's gone. Like I missed Disney long the other day, right? I was busy looking. Now I did point out the reversals on it, but when it went long, I was like, it didn't have the particular setup I like to use, and I'm staring at it going up all day. I'm like, let it go, because guess what? That was like I don't even. What was that, yesterday, 2 days ago? Who knows? I don't even think about it anymore. But I did learn from it. I did look at it to see what it did. It still didn't give me a setup that was necessarily sensible. But you see all that stuff and you miss it, and you just have to move on. I look at this chart. The charts here. Look, the charts here are made up of days where tons of trades could be taken. If you sit and dwell on all the money that could have been made on PayPal every single day here, right? The emotions are just going to drain you. Right? You just have to walk away and just be like, look, and tell yourself there's going to be plenty more to come. That was just a good learning experience. Time to move on to the next one, right? And then you can go back and study it, right? You can go back and study it. So that's kind of one of the best answers for it. I do it. I see it all the time, and I'm like, oh man, I should have caught that. But you can't force trades. That is the key. Actually, in an Amex, Diz is not an inside day. It is a harami, which is it's an inside real body. So the real body is contained by this real body, but I don't consider it an inside day. Well, it's technically not considered an inside day, because inside day is where the whole body is contained by the whole candle of the previous one. So that's why all these yellow ones are inside. You can see how they're inside those bodies. But it's a harami, which could be treated like it. You could actually trade the real bodies, ignore the shadows, and just trade this. So a breakout of the real body could give a, basically an inside break. So some people do that. Something to think about. Good. And my pleasure. NNA Max, do you use multiple time frames to trade? Absolutely. Absolutely. So, we always want to know what's going on all this stuff. Now, do I trade off the monthly chart often? I really don't. But it does give you a good macro picture. Do I use the weekly charts? Not as much as I'd like to. But it does give you key levels, right? So like the high of a week, or if it's an inside week, those breakout points are really important. The hammer breakouts, the tail fails of those. So what the best way to do it is not to have like tons of monitors, but do it the way we do it, right? Put the levels up there, right? Use the levels, right? So if those, and this way when those levels come up on your shorter term time frames, right, at least you can remember and recall, and sometimes you have to put more notes on it than just gap window opening below. You'd say like, this is super important, focus here when you get to that level and you're on your shorter term time frames, right? So that's what we do. And then intraday I look at the hourly, and mostly the 15 and the 5. We'll see if anything shorter than that, you have to have special techniques, which we do, but they can help. Everything ties together, so it's important to know the key factors on each time frame. Absolutely, my pleasure. Doc Admin, Apple Week? I know. Maybe, we'll see. Brian, yeah. I mean, that's the way to do it. So and then ask yourself, just tell yourself like, what did I really miss here? And then did I miss it, right? And will I get more? Will there be more setups? And there's always another setup. I've already forgot about yesterday. I've already almost forgot about today. So I just can't let it. It's got to let it roll off and move on to the next day. Every day's going to give you something new. Learn from it and try to apply it in the future. MTN, yeah, my pleasure. Fernando, AGRX. Let's take a look. Oof. Got oofed after work there. Yeah, $2 down to $1.60. So keep an eye on that. Yeah, it could be an interesting one. Good. All right, guys. Well, this is a fun talk tonight. I really like this. I like this whole week. I like all these strategies went over this week. So I'll save it as a playlist this weekend. Definitely check it out on Twitter. And I really appreciate everybody's chart requests and participation. It's always fun. If anybody's new here, definitely subscribe on YouTube. We do this every market night, and we also put other cool videos up too. And check out our links in the description too, and follow us on Twitter. So everybody have a great evening, and thank you everybody for tuning in and for your support. And remember your risk first, and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you soon.